Ubi ea dies quam constituerat cum legatis venit, et legati ad eam reverterent, negat se more et exemplo populi Romani passe iter uli per provinciam dare, et si vim facere conentur propitium ostendit. Okay, ubi. That introduces a dependent clause. It starts here and it ends at the comma. So that is not your main sentence. It is a dependent clause. Let's pick this apart. Cum ea dies, that's your subject, that day. And then look, he gives us a nifty little relative clause talking about the day. Inside the relative clause, we've got a prepositional phrase, cum legatis. So when that day came, what day? The day that is described by this clause, which I think you can handle. And legati ad eam reverterent. Again, we've got a prepositional phrase here. We've got a subject and a verb. So when these two things happen, number one, ea dies venit, and number two, legati reverterent, when this dependent clause happened. Okay, negat, Caesar denies. And the cool thing about negat is that it introduces a negative indirect statement. If you want to say something that is not an indirect statement, you use the word negat as your main verb. So that is like a kissing verb. He denies that, or he says that, he won't, and let's see. Since we've got an indirect statement, it's going to start here. Here is our accusative subject, say. This is the subject of the indirect statement. More et exemplo. Those are both ablatives, so they're a chunk. According to the more et exemplo, the custom and example of who? Of the Roman people. So that's a genitive phrase modifying that. Say is your accusative subject. We're still looking for the infinitive verb. Here it is, passe. He is able. And that in turn takes another infinitive. So we'll have to wait. He's able to what? Before he gives us that, we've got a direct object, something about a trip through the province. That is a prepositional phrase. Iter, of course, uli here is a dative. So Caesar denies that he is able to something, a trip to anyone through the province. And finally, by the time we get to the infinitive dare, you're thinking, give, it makes sense. So he denies that he is able to give the direct object accusative a trip to anyone through the province. And what else does Caesar say? Well, we've got this little dependent clause here, but we'll continue with our indirect statement first of all. Prohibitorum. Hopefully by now you recognize that Caesar is not always going to give us a prohibitorum esse. He shows that he is going to prohibit future active infinitive. You recognize that because of the UR. He is going to stop them if they should try to use force.